Uniform dog meat! Euripides sprang back in alarm, too late, and cursed. There was a beating if he did not attend school in uniform. Even in a poor mountain village, they had standards. And they had guns. Like the 2 Sten guns wrapped in sacking at the bottom of one of the panniers which they were delivering, along with the rest of the supplies, to their older brother. George envied his older brother, hiding out with 5 other Aoka fighters in a mountain lair. Aoka, Ethniki Organosis Kyprion Agoniston, the National Association of Cypriot Fighters, who for a year had been trying to blast open the closed colonial minds of their British rulers and force them to grant the island independence. They were terrorists to some, liberation fighters to others. To George, great patriots. With every part of him that was not concerned with sex, he wanted to join them, to fight the enemies of his country. But the High Command was emphatic. No one under the age of 18 could take up arms. He would have lied, but there was no point. Not in a village where everyone knew, even the night of his conception, just before Christmas 1939. The war against the Germans was only a few months old, and his father's brother, also George, had volunteered for the Cyprus Regiment of the British Army. Like many young Cypriots, he had wanted to join the fight for freedom in Europe, which, once won, would surely bring their own release. Or so they had thought. His uncle's farewell celebration had been a long night of feasting and loving, and he had been conceived. Uncle George never came back. The younger George had much to live up to. He idolized the uncle he had never known, but he was only 15 and almost 3/4, and instead of marching in heroic footsteps, was reduced to delivering messages and supplies. "Did you really do it with Vaso? Seriously, George?" "Course, stupid. Several times," George lied. "What was it like?" "Like peponia, soft melons of flesh," George exclaimed, gyrating his hands in demonstration. He wanted to expand, but couldn't. Vaso had taken him no further than the buttons of her blouse, where he had found not the soft fruits he had anticipated, but small, hard breasts with nipples like plumstones. Euripides giggled, but didn't believe. "You didn't, did you?" he accused. George felt his carefully constructed edifice wobbling beneath him. "Did? Didn't? Safety? Malaka!" Euripides threw a stone, and George jumped, stumbling on a loose rock and falling flat on his rump, fragments of his dream scattered around him. Euripides' squeals of laughter, by turns childishly high-pitched and pubescent gruff, filled the valley and cascaded like acid over his brother's pride. George felt humiliated. He needed something to restore his flagging esteem. Suddenly he knew exactly how. George loosened the string neck of one of the panniers and reached deep inside, beneath the oranges and side of smoked pork, until his fingers grasped a cylindrical parcel of sacking. Carefully he withdrew it, then a second, slightly smaller bundle. In the shadow of a large boulder, he lay both on the carpet of soft pine needles, gently removed the wrappings, and Euripides gasped. It was his first trip on the supply run. He hadn't been told what they were carrying. Staring up at him from the sacking was the dull grey metal of a Sten gun, modified with a folding butt to make it more compact for smuggling. Alongside it were 3 ammunition mags. George was delighted with the effect. Within a few seconds, as his older brother had taught him the week before, he had prepared the Sten, a lightweight machine gun, swinging and locking into position the skeletal metal butt, engaging one of the magazines. He fed the first bullet into the chamber. It was ready. "Didn't know I could use one of these, did you?" He felt much better, authority re-established. He wedged the gun in the crook of his elbow and adopted a fighting pose, raking the valley with a burst of pretend fire, doing to death 1,000 different enemies. Then he turned on the donkey, dispatching it with a volley of whistled sound effects. The beast, unaware of its fate, continued to rip at a clump of tough grass. "Let me, George. My turn," his brother pleaded. George, the commander, shook his